The NFL is always looking for someone better than Alex Smith. It's hard to find. Front offices always seem to think there's someone a little bit better than Alex Smith right around the bend. They usually turn out to be wrong. Maybe it's his nondescript appearance, neatly built but not head-turningly so, or that mild personality of his, which absorbs insults with a shrugging politeness, that makes him so chronically unappreciated. He's visibly sort of plain, with that buff-colored cropped beard, and forever being faintly damned as a game manager. Supposedly smart football men keep looking over their shoulders for someone more glittering. It's the curse of the talent scout to always be a sucker for more of a specimen. It's the foible of fat men on the sideline to always think a little more young muscle might execute those drawings in their head. The trade with Kansas City for Smith is therefore the most surprisingly sensible move the Washington Redskins have made in a long time. Smith is way too good for this front office, smart, self-deprecating, a solid acquisition rather than a flashy one, and therefore totally uncharacteristic. Which is why you suspect that signing him will be the high point of their relationship. They've agreed to pay him, but the question now becomes, will they really value him? How long will Redskins owner Dan Snyder and general manager Bruce Allen be content with a guy so unassuming, who says, no quarterback goes out there and plays well on his own? Whose own agent, Tom Condon, characterized him recently to the Kansas City media as tough as an old boot. Redskins invite scrutiny but secure stability with Alex Smith after botched Kirk Cousins contract. The San Francisco 49ers were the first ones who undersold Smith back in 2012-13, when Colin Kaepernick came along with his boa constrictor limbs and made them feel so much more alive. Remember that insulting scene at the Super Bowl, when the 49ers shunted Smith aside publicly. All he had done was get them off to a 6-2 start with a hand so hot he was on pace to lead the league in almost every passing category. Then he got a concussion, and while he was out, they fell under Kaepernick's spell. Smith didn't sulk or brood, instead he captained the team from the sideline and graciously tutored Kaepernick. Only to be denied any real credit while Kaepernick and a dozen other players took spotlit podiums on Super Bowl media day. Smith was relegated to a scrum on the floor. NFL Network commentator Deion Sanders was so affronted on Smith's behalf that he made an issue of it on air. You're partly responsible for getting these guys here, does something as inconsiderate as that upset you? Sanders asked, adding that Smith had been a trooper. I'm not going to lie to you, it's not been the easiest thing, Smith said. But at same time you deal with it and move on, this is a team game. I wasn't going to pout. I certainly wasn't going to put myself before any of that. A month later, San Francisco traded him to Kansas City. The good ones stay ready, and when the next opportunity comes, they go on and make the most of it, Smith said, and that's what he did. He led the Chiefs to 3 11-win seasons and 4 playoff berths in the past 5 years. Only to watch his coaches grow bewitched by Patrick Mahomes, a 225-pound kid out of Texas Tech with hair leaping out of his headband, and 60-mile-per-hour velocity on the ball. Kendall Fuller's exit and Alex Smith trade stings Redskins suddenly. Smith was seen as expendable, even though he had the best stats of any quarterback in the league. Even though he had a touchdown-to-interception ratio of 26.5, a number that Tom Brady calls the #1 stat differential for a quarterback. Even though he led the league in deep strikes, while getting picked off a stunning 1% of the time. Listen, he did some good things, Coach Andy Reid said. He really put together a nice year. Some good things? When Philadelphia Eagles coach Doug Peterson heard about the trade at the Super Bowl, he called Smith a pro's pro and said, I just hate that we have to play him twice a year. Super Bowl quarterback Nick Foles, who played with Smith in Kansas City in 2016 and who knows something about fluctuating value, said Smith is a player who can turn a locker room around. When running back Kareem Hunt heard about the trade, he called it heartbreaking, according to NFL.com. Seeing a guy that for some reason people critique all the time, I mean, The guy's a winner, Foles says. I mean, look at him. Look at what he did this year, and he just keeps coming. He keeps getting better. The Redskins didn't trade for Smith because they experienced a burst of illumination and suddenly value a pro's pro. They made the trade to get out of the financial mess they made by not properly valuing Kirk Cousins. It's highly doubtful they will value Smith, or that this front office can put enough good pieces around him. Everyone wants their Doc or D-Swan, a kid with electric voltage cables instead of limbs. Everyone wants to electrocute the opponent, instead of just beat them. The Redskins will be no different. If anything, they are more susceptible than most to seeking greener grass. It won't be long before they start lusting after another quarterback, no matter how good their new one is. For more by Sally Jenkins, visit WashingtonPost.com/Jenkins. Read more coverage. Jerry Brewer, the Alex Smith trade could sentence the Redskins to long-term mediocrity. Some people are going crazy over the Redskins losing Kendall Fuller. Here's why. At the Super Bowl, the NFL digests the Redskins trade for Alex Smith. DC Sports Blog, a QB trade, a Kirk Cousins goodbye and Twitter mayhem. Tuesday night was